Hey everyone, Sanjay here from Contriver podcast. You're listening to Cant Show, episode number 145, and in this episode, we're gonna talk about selling. Let's get started. Never listen to any advices. That's the advice that I want to give. These are nothing but you practice, you'll become an expert one. Your network is your net worth. But I don't know how to start. Just start. Selling is one of the greatest skill any entrepreneur can ever have. It's not just entrepreneurs who need to sell things. Being an employee, even you need to sell. You need to sell yourself in an interview to get paid on a high job. So if you wanna get paid more, you need to sell yourself for a more price. I mean, sell yourself in the sense sell your skills, not to sell your other things. So selling is really important in this digital era. People feel like selling is not that really important. If you just throw things on online, people will buy it. A product is really good, why don't they buy things? No, it's not really that. Even though the digital era is really awesome, if you just throw a bunch of pictures into a website and say that this is really awesome, people will buy that. No, not really that. Selling is a quite important thing, and being a salesperson, I mean a great salesperson, what you really need to understand is no matter how much this technology advances, never use this bots for your selling. The only important thing that I have learned in my entire 5 years of business is never use a bot for selling. And the next thing, these auto replies in your WhatsApp, in your Instagrams, in your Facebook, in your personal website, personal in the sense your professional website that you have. So in all those things, never use a bot for your customers to sell. So never say, hey, this is someone so and so, and even if someone else texts you, they would get the same reply. No, never do that. One thing that you need to understand is, instead of texting people, if you really understand that that person would that person is really interested to buy something in your company, the product of your company, make sure you just call them and explain about your particular product, your particular service, and that connection that you have between your customer and you, that is really important. And I have lost many customers just by using bots, just by using auto replies, all that. But while beginning, just to filter some people, you can use auto replies. But once you know that they are interested in your product, make sure you just call them or meet them and explain about your product. When you are starting, it is really important that you have a great relationship with your customer. If your company is as big as Amazon, being Jeff Bezos, you just can't you just can't call every customer and say that hey, my particular company is really good, and you can trust my company to buy this particular soap box. So you can't really do that. You just can't, Jeff Bezos just can't just can't call you to promote his brand and say that you can trust my brand just to sell this particular phone, screen guard or something else. So that's not gonna happen. But when you are starting, it is really important. You might really good at technology, you might really awesome at this one particular thing called as technology, auto replies, programming, all that. But the moment that one person hears a robotic voice in their phone, they feel like, man, am I really a robot? Why are people doing this? How many times you would have just scolded a person who are just calling you, the customer, your service provider, your internet service provider, just to tell you your mobile phone recharge is being expired. It's going to be expired. You just have to recharge. Or do you need a caller tune? This caller tune sounds really awesome. Try to get that for your lovable phone number, how many times you would have just scolded that particular people. If that person is if that particular call is a real person, you would have never scolded that particular thing. And how many times you were just flirting with Alexa, or you were just flirting with Google Assistant or Siri, you would scold them like hell. But would you do that for a real person? No, right? That is the connection that you have between a real person and a robot. So that is what I feel. Selling is really important, and make sure you just make it on a phone call, or you can just do that in by meeting them in person. And what is really selling then? Selling is nothing but understanding your customer, what is their particular need. And what's the definition of a great salesman? That is nothing but they need to reduce the efforts that has been put by the customer. They need to guide your customer to get a right product. That is the reason I just told you that even though that particular product is not in your company, make sure you just recommend your competitors companies to buy one particular thing. That means you are not just selling your product, you need to sell a service, you need to sell an emotion. That is really important than selling a product. People feel like if I just manufacture a great product, people will rush in numbers and buy my product. No, not really that. People will buy your product when your service is good, when you are really selling it great. Marketing is so correlated or so attached to selling. Learn good marketing, learn good selling, you're a great entrepreneur. Even though if you lose everything that you have in your entire company, if you learn marketing, if you learn selling, I think you are a great entrepreneur. You can build anything from the bottom, from the scratch, when you are really good at marketing and selling. So yeah, I'm giving shout out to everyone who just comment on my particular video episode, my picture, all that. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. You could be the next one who gets a shout out in my particular video. And until then, it's me Sanjay signing off. Meet you guys at the top. Thank you guys. Meet you in my next podcast. Bye bye.